What is your worst caught having sex story? This is an almost caught story, but oh well. Two things. This happened the summer that Pokemon Go came out, and it was before weed was legal in my state. Both are important to the story. So my boyfriend and I drove up the hill to a popular makeout spot. We parked at the top, made out as the sun was going down, and eventually started having sex. It's dark by this point. A car comes up the hill and parks a little ways in front of us. We quickly break apart and start zipping things up. They turn off their headlights, and we see a small flash in the car from a lighter. We would see that there were 4 or 5 guys hotboxing in the car. We decide we should probably leave and start to get dressed. Not 30 seconds later, 2 cop cars pull up the hill. I immediately tell my boyfriend to take out his phone. 1 cop goes to the car in front of us. 1 pulls up next to us. He asks what we are doing, and I show him Pokemon Go open on my phone, and said that we were trying to catch them. He buys this somehow and tell us that we are on private property. This was genuinely surprising to us because it'd been a public park for ages. I think the surprise on my face worked in our favor because I told him we had no idea and would leave right away. He said, yeah, there's no sign or anything, but they just sold it. We have to come up and tell people to leave all the time. He seemed much more concerned with the car of guys smoking, so he left to go deal with them, and we went home. That's the story of how a car full of stoners and Pokemon Go kept me from being on the sex offender list. I was in high school. Went over to my then girlfriend's mom's apartment like usual after school. Just us, as usual, but this time we got a wee bit too adventurous. We didn't bother to head into the bedroom, just started right on the couch in the living room. Suddenly we hear keys jingle. Point, guess who decided to come home for lunch? You guessed it, her mom. I quickly jump up and grab my pants at the very least and run to the bedroom into the closet. The next thing I hear is, young man, I know you're on here, just come out before I have to come and find your little hay. I put my pants on and head back out into the living room. Point, funniest sh I've seen in my life. Point, her mom is standing there with a Heineken beer bottle in each hand. Point, but with point Crocs on the bottom of the bottles. Crocs. I've always been that guy that laughs when he's not supposed to. I laugh. She gets even more upset and starts cursing and threatens to call my dad. She knows him. My girlfriend starts laughing also. Keep in mind, her mom is a very scary woman, but the sight of the crocodiles being gestured around, pure comedy gold. So my girlfriend's dad gets there. I make eye contact with him as he enters. He's pissed. Point, until he sees the crocodiles. Point, and starts to chuckle. A few seconds later my dad gets there. Him being my dad. Point, well, he didn't. He tried to hold back his laughter. So we were all laughing pretty hard at this time except for the mom, who was gesturing with the crocodiles asking WTF we found so funny about this whole situation. My dad made a living buying properties and renting them out. He would buy dilapidated homes, fix them, and sell/rent them. I'd help out often, and I got to figure out which homes in my town were empty. Plus I was working on them too, so I had keys to those homes he owned. So I took my girlfriend, at the time, to one of those homes. It's locked up and dark, and we go into one of the bedrooms and start doing what teenagers do. It wasn't uncommon. The house was good to go, and it was only lacking proper furnishing. Well, one of his maintenance workers he keeps on call was on rough times, so my dad had offered him to stay at this house. We, of course, had no idea, so the maintenance guy hears us, calls my dad to ask WTF do I do. Some random people are literally doing it in this other room. It's like 11 PM. My dad, not knowing it was me, called the cops. So we're there, after the fun, cuddling and when the literal cops knock and come in with my dad and George, the maintenance guy. Funny enough, my dad just told me to check with him should I ever do a stunt like that again. Oh boy, here goes. This happened recently as well. So a few weeks ago my country was in a lockdown for COVID, and I'd been chatting with this girl, and she asked me to come over and pick her up. Now this was illegal for several reasons. It was lockdown, so I wasn't supposed to be leaving my bubble. It was past my curfew for my driver's license, and on my license I wasn't allowed passengers. Regardless, me being the horny teen I am, I went and picked her up. We went for a drive down a quiet road and parked up. We moved to the back seat and things got a bit frisky, and we started doing the deed. Next thing you know I see some headlights come around the corner, so I duck down. Instead of driving past us, the car slows down, turns around and pulls up behind us, then flicks the red and blues on. I start to panic. Do you know what the first thing I put on was? Not my pants, my mask. My effing mask. So the officer walks up to the car and says, I think I see what's going on here. I'll let you get changed. The story gets even better. The officer says to the girl, are you alright, miss? She said, yeah, I'm just scared. And the officer replies, of who? Me or this guy? And points to me. Do you know what she said? Both. So now I start to really panic and I get out of the car and talk to the officer. He asks for my name and address, then gets me to sit in the car while he talks to the girl. He said to her, I figured you were joking, but I'd be a bad cop if I didn't check. Eventually he finished talking to her and says to me, I had to check what you were doing her as you're actually parked outside the local gun club and we've had attempted robberies in the past. And I said, nah, it's fine mate. You're just doing your job. So the officer lets us go without so much as a warning. All in all, it was hilarious. The girl and I didn't work out, but we are still friends. Mr. Officer, if you're reading this, you are an absolute champ for not getting us on trouble. TL. Doctor got caught by the cops shagging a girl in my car outside the local gun club at 1 AM. It's my time. Summer of 1993. I'm 14 years old. Nags Head, North Carolina. My parents have a family friend that invites her friends down to stay with her at her beach house all summer. I always go, but this year I'm staying the entire summer to basically be a pool boy / waiter. No, the old lady never goes after me. Perverts. For her and her friends. I'm driving her Range Rover around going to the grocery store and stuff. It's effing awesome. Best job ever. In comes the new family. 2 weeks. It's one of her lawyers, his 2 kids both under 12. New girlfriend and her daughter who is my age. Do typical horny teenager flirting and stuff. A few days it's fun. We both agree to sneak out one night and meet on the side porch. We meet up and head off to the beach at 11 or so, kiss under the moonlight, hold hands, walk around. It was a memorable moment. So we head back to the house to sneak back on the porch to do some more stuff. Her shorts are off, I'm going down on her. My first time ever, no idea what I'm doing. She seems to enjoy it. Then it's my turn, she's giving me head while I'm on a bench seat. I'm loving life, looking at the stars, listening to the ocean while getting my first BJ. Then I hear Melanie. This girl's head pops up with an audible suction pop and says, oh, hi mom. Well, I'm freaking the F out. I'm trying to pull my shorts back on. Green leafy jorts. I'll never forget how fast my dick went limp or those shorts. Going OF in my head. I go back into a bedroom that has deck access. The room I stayed in didn't have access to the deck. Meet angry step boyfriend lawyer who, I assume, I cock blocked. Well, me little 120-pound A gets rocked. He bounces my head off a wall and dumps me down the steps. A few choice words of his still ring in my ears sometimes. Well, we all meet downstairs. The mom and daughter are down there. We do the whole talk thing while she still isn't wearing shorts and no one even notices except me. 30 minutes talk about pregnancy, respect, all of that stuff. Good times. Well, funny thing. The next day her sister blows her knee out at cheerleading camp. Parents roll out to get daughter and take her home. This is 2 days into their 2-week vacation. The lady that owns the property comes to watch all of us, and she could give 2 shits what we do. A day later I lose my V card to her and have sex multiple times a day for the rest of that trip. If you're reading the mail, it was a wild summer.